Hi, this is one of several presentations that I'm going to start posting online through YouTube through our flipped classroom stuff. The goal of flipped classrooms in this instance is not for students to go home, watch a lesson, and come back home or come back to school and practice it. Rather, it's a review tool not only for kids but for you so that you can see as parents how I'm teaching things in the classroom. The first one we're going to focus on is something called greatest common factor and least common multiple. Greatest common factor is the largest factor that is shared between two numbers, and least common multiple would be the smallest multiple shared between two numbers. A very simple example, let's look at 4 and 8. In this instance, the GCF would be 4, because that's the smallest number shared between these two up here, which are called multiples or products or the answers. The least common multiple in this instance is, of course, 8, because that is the smallest multiple that both of those share. 4 times 2, of course, is 8, and then 8 times 1 is also 8. The strategy that the kids have been taught in class is called the sock method. What you do is you have a pair of numbers and you're being asked to calculate the GCF or the LCM. This strategy does both at the same time, which is really cool. So first of all, write these numbers like this, and then you're going to ask yourself, is there a factor that both numbers share? If you don't know automatically what the GCF of this is, you can just start working with 2, 3, or 5. In this instance, I'm going to start with 2. Now, I stopped at 5 because you usually work with the smaller numbers. It can be as large as the GCF, but this strategy, again, is for kids who don't know what the GCFs are. Once you've written the 2 out here, you ask yourself, how many times is 24 divided by 2? That equals 12. And 32 divided by 2 is 16. Then see if you can repeat the process, in which case you can. I'm going to take out 2 again. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 16 divided by 2 is 8. And keep going. I'm going to take out 2 one more time. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. At this point, though, I can't proceed because there's nothing that 3 and 4 share other than 1. So this is when you can find out what your GCF is. It's on the left-hand side in the vertical column, and I've taught the kids to write a capital G around it. The least common multiple is the product of what's highlighted here in yellow. Now, the GCF is the product of what is inside the G, in which instance this is 2 times 2 times 2. Eventually I'm going to teach the kids that this is 2 to the third power. In any case, the GCF here is 8. The least common multiple is the product of everything in yellow. So that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 4. We know that this is already 8. 8 times 3 is 24, and 24 times 4 is 96. So we have our LCM and our GCF already here. Let's try another example. Let's say that I'm looking for the GCF and LCM of numbers that you really don't think about very often, 28 and 42. Here I'm going to work with 2 just like I did before, just so that I have a starting place. 28 divided by 2 is 14. 42 divided by 2 is 21. Now, this is one of those instances where you can use a number larger than 2 and 3 because it's kind of easy to see that your GCF in this instance, or a common factor I should say, would be 7. 14 divided by 7, of course, is 2. 21 divided by 7 is 3. The only common factor between 2 and 3 is 1, so the greatest common factor is here, and your least common multiple is the product there. GCF in this instance would be 2 times 7, which is 14, and the LCM is 2 times 7 times 2 times 3. That was 14. 14 times 2 is 28, and then 28 times 3 is 84. This strategy can also be used when you're working with 3 numbers, but it's a little trickier. First, write the numbers, and then look and see if all 3 numbers have a factor in common. Here it is 2. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Now, ask myself again, are there factors here that we can share? There are, but there aren't. There's a factor between 10 and 12. There are factors shared between 12 and 15, and factors yet again between 10 and 15. But the 3 of these don't have a common factor. That tells you that your GCF is 2. But that does not mean that your least common multiple has been calculated, because if you have 2 numbers that are shared, at least with the factor, you can keep working. It doesn't matter which one I start with, as long as I pick something that 2 of these multiples share. In this instance, I'm going to work with 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2. I can't do anything with the 12, so I'm just going to rewrite it. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Now, is there something else we can do with this? And there is. In this instance, I can take the 2 out for 2 and 12, or I can take out a 3 between 12 and 3. It will not matter which one I pick. Let's just go with 2 to make it simple. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. I can't do anything with that 3, so I'm going to write it like that. I can still do one more operation, though. I'm going to take out 3. I can't do anything with that 1, so I'm leaving it be. 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. The least common multiple is what I've highlighted again in yellow. Now, this is a long equation, but the numbers are big. I've got 2 times 5 times 2 times 3 times 1 times 2 times 1. While there are a lot of operations, the numbers are small. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 2 is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. 60 times 1 is 60 again. 60 times 2 is 120. And 120 times 1 is 120. So my GCF was 2. My LCM was 120. Hope this helps. Thanks.